Now, there we go.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. So if it suddenly like kicks me off midway, then I apologize.
Don't worry.
But yeah, no, thank you for joining me. It's great to see you again. I know you've been busy.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, where have you gone? There you are. I know you've been busy moving house and things recently. How's that gone?
Brilliant. Smooth as, literally, absolutely textbook. But you know, I love moving anyway. So if it didn't, then I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, to be fair, if you can't have a smooth and efficient move, then I don't. So no, thanks for jumping on the call when you've been packing boxes or unpacking boxes at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's my pleasure. Anything for you.
Oh, thank you. So I thought it'd be good if we just started by sharing a little bit about what each of our businesses do, and yeah, go from there. So do you want to kick off, Lisa?
What the business does? Basically, obviously I move a lot, or I have moved a lot. I grew up in the removals industry. So when the kids left home, I wanted to do something for me. It was more about my jobs. You name it, I've done it. I've worked in a bank, I've worked in a school, I've done this, I've done that. But I'm really good at moving house without sounding braggy. I've often helped people with tips, and it was my brother's got a removal company, and he said, "Well, put them all together." So put all my tips together, all the reminders, the checklists, you know, all the bits and bobs. Trialed it with his company, and it went down really, really well. It really, really helped people, and I thought, actually, this is my niche. This is what I need to do. So I put together the moving guide, and I pitch it to companies that help people move home. So I've got removal companies, I've got estate agents, solicitors, you know, anybody, basically mortgage brokers that deal with people moving home. It's just to help people, you know, make it go a little bit more smooth.
Yeah, I must say, because I remember when I was a little kid, and my mum and dad were they were the sorts, like, they had their full-time jobs, but then I grew up with us living in different houses, and they would do it up and then we'd sell it and move to a different house. So I grew up like living in a couple of caravans, and you know, I think I'd moved about 9 times by the time I was like 15 or something. And the one thing I remember them saying was, like, moving house is the most stressful time. It's one of the most stressful times in your life.
Yeah.
And in the naivety of being a child, I suppose, I was like, I don't get this, because for me it's an exciting day. You know, I just saw the day of moving, and I didn't obviously appreciate the full range of things that go before that. But I think, like, your book is really good in that it kind of covers all of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes away the stress. I think it's a bit like, I said to somebody, when you cook a roast dinner, you don't throw it all in the oven and expect it all to come out. You know, it's all about planning, it's all about preparation, and the more you can do to prepare, the less stressful it is, you know. And there are so many things that people forget through no fault of their own. There's just so much going on, and the booklet was more to just sort of, it's not rocket science. I didn't want it to be War and Peace, but reminders like I just updated our dog's microchipped. A lot of people forget that. It's just something, because you don't see it, it's not visible, it's, you know, it's often overlooked. And when you move, that's when your cat's going to go missing, or that's when, you know, it's just one of those things. And the number of people that have spoken to me over the years and gone, "Oh, when I moved, you know, God knows how many years ago, and I never you know," and you hear it all the time of pets going missing, and they're not, you know, they've gone to the vets, they've taken to the vets these dogs and cats that have been found, and they can't be reunited because the numbers are out of date or whatever. And I just think, if it just helps one person renew, it's just meant to make people,
yeah. I mean, I suppose the nature of what you're doing is similar to what we're doing, in that you really are, you're helping people in a time of their lives when they probably haven't really done it that often, or they haven't really needed that thing beforehand. So for us, we're obviously the online marketplace for self-storage. So a customer who is looking for storage can go online, find what's available, and reserve it there and then instantly. But much more than that, you know, the chances are that they may not have ever thought about self-storage before, or what was involved in it. And so we really just want to make life easier for people and sort of help them to understand what the differences are with self-storage. I mean, knowledge is power, obviously, and I think customers make a much more confident buying decision when they feel like they have that information. And obviously the self-storage industry does a great job of imparting that information when customers speak to them directly. You know, they can help explain that through them, and they do a great job of that. But for a lot of customers, certainly in this day and age, you know, they don't want to pick up the phone and speak to somebody. Or maybe they're happy to, but actually the only time that they've really got to look into something is when they're lying in bed at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night and they've just got their little one off to bed, like me.
Absolutely.
I need storage this week. So the more they can access online, the better. And you know, that's a big part of what we're trying to do anyway. But
storage as well isn't just about moving house. It's obviously, after speaking to you, you know, people now are doing up houses, or they're sorting out. It's you know, it's used a lot more, I think, than and it's a lot more sought after, I think, now than it used to be. You know, I
mean, it is fascinating the amount of kind of anecdotes of different stories that you hear as to why somebody's used storage, and it varies region by region as well. Even like 5 miles, 10 miles down the road, you kind of might have a different demographic than you'd have somewhere else. So like Anglesey, where our offices are based, you get a lot of second homeowners, you get a lot of people retiring and downscaling.
Yes.
Car boot sailing is massive. Yes.
Oh my God, of course. Yeah.
It's huge. They use the RAF bases for car booting, and so these are kind of like micro businesses, but then they need someone to store stuff. So it is fascinating. And then obviously if you go to a city, you might have sort of professionals who maybe don't have the same amount of space in their apartments, but then they've got sports equipment that they want to go off at the weekend and stuff. So it is fascinating how broad it is.
No, that's true. Actually, I didn't even think of that with the space, the lack of space and sports. That's a really good idea, because if you got 5 ton of skiing kit and you live in a little solo apartment in London, that could prove.
Well, I was speaking to a customer the other day, and they literally have like their winter kit and wardrobe and their summer kit and wardrobe, and they just pretty much exchange it. Brilliant. So, the autumn comes, the skis come out, the winter coats, etc. And then the summer, out comes the barbecue.
That makes so much sense. So much sense. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, when you think about it in that context, you know, your average size storage facility actually isn't that expensive, you know, for the value that you're kind of getting out of it. You know, it's kind of like a good gym membership or something like that, I guess. So really good. So as a business owner, dare I say it, a woman in business, like I always
do it. I
love the woman in business thing, but I always feel like, but first and foremost, we're just business people. Like that's the thing, isn't it? But what motivated you to start your own business?
I think what it was is my husband's very successful in what he does. My kids were all very successful, and I just thought, do you know what? I want something for me. I want to do something for me, and it was more that I wanted to start a business that I could call the shots. I think, you know, that I could you know, run it around my lifestyle, which is a bit crazy and a bit chaotic. I've kind of replaced the children with dogs and, you know, silly things like that. And I think if I run the business, it's me that I answer to, you know. And I do think you work harder when you work for yourself, but I think if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work anyway. It's really easy. But I think it was more that I just wanted something for me without being selfish, that I wasn't just wife of or mum. You know, I wanted to be something in my own right. You know,
absolutely. And have you ever done anything like that before?
What did I do? No, not really. I've kind of fitted all my jobs and everything I've done around the children, really. It's as a military wife, you know what it's like. They go off and you're kind of, you know, away from family. So it is quite tough holding down a career when you know, when you have got a family, I mean, it's changed a lot now, and you've got an awful lot of organizations like Recruit for Spouses that, you know, take on board how difficult it is being a military spouse, and it is easier. But yeah, no, that was the reason I did it. It was more, I wanted to be my own boss. What about you? What about you?
I think I'd sort of reached a point in my professional career. So I was a chartered surveyor, and like growing up, it was always, you know, I wanted to become chartered. And then when I was chartered, I wanted to work for like the best company I could work for. And I got to that point, and you know, my manager was saying, right, it's time to pick a specialism and things. And I was kind of like, okay, why does that itch not feel like it's scratched? You know?
Yeah.
And I realized I retraced my steps a bit, and I realized that actually, you know, when I was younger, I was always like creating stuff and rallying people and doing things. If there was a project to be done, I'd just love it. I'd throw myself into it. And I realized that actually I just really love like spotting the potential in something, helping to realize that, helping empower people to realize, you know, the potential in themselves and things, and just sort of, yeah, I guess like my dad is a real sort of like people helper, you know. It's kind of like
so nice.
There's a bit of that maybe in me, and then it was kind of like a bit of an epiphany that I wasn't going to really be able to do that in just like the corporate and the career that I was in, and I wanted to build my own business. And then so I went freelance doing surveying while I explored other options to give me that flexibility. And when I came up with the idea for Explorage, it was kind of from living on Anglesey and seeing people coming from the city with like sports kit. It was probably the sports kit bit that kind of like, you just store that in a storage facility like in Anglesey or something, save them lugging it back and forth, or you know, trying to cram it into the flats. And then I was like, whoa, there's actually a lot of storage around, and like, how would you access it? And then as I kind of unearthed the sort of the industry, or just like did more research into it, it was one of those moments where I was like, how does this not exist already? And I think that's a really good problem to start with.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm going on a bit, sorry, it's that
no
get excited about things and passionate about things, but like I realized like self-storage is usually used by people during times of change in their lives, or quite often it is. You know, they start a business, having a divorce, God help, you know, moving house, whatever it might be. And you know, they can be quite stressful occasions. And I thought, well, you're helping them during a time of change in their lives, you're empowering them to just
massively. Yeah, massively.
So that definitely sort of scratched the itch for me then, in terms of like making life easier. Yeah, that was it. And what about you know, how do you engage with your customers? How do you find that?
Most of my engagement is on social media. I mean, I know it gets a lot of bad press, but actually it really can be great. So I'm all over social media, as you know.
Yeah.
And word of mouth. I mean, word of mouth, mostly social media, word of mouth, and just being out and about, events. You know, obviously we did the movers and storers together, you know, we make contacts there, and it's one of those things, everybody's kind of connected somewhere, aren't they? You know.
Yeah. And you probably don't even realize it, you know, you're so personable and friendly that why wouldn't you ever want to like speak to you and things as well?
Thank you.
To speak to you anyway. And you know, I think a lot of like the self-storage industry, the removals industry, from what I've seen of it, it seems quite close-knit, quite friendly. There seems to be a lot of family businesses and things as well. So
it's a lovely industry. I really think it's a lovely industry. And yeah, it's like you say, you know, everybody's out to do the same thing. Everybody wants to help people.
Yeah, definitely. I think like what we try and do is really, like, when we're engaging with customers, whether they're storage operators wanting to list their space, or customers wanting to book self-storage, for us we always come back to the same thing, which is just see the human in the conversation first, and speak to people like a human being, like an actual person, rather than a sale or a lead, whatever. Just forget that. People first. And we've all been on the receiving end of kind of bad customer service, haven't we? Or
oh my God, do you not think it's got worse? I think I think COVID's getting the blame still for an awful lot of bad customer service. A lot of people are kind of, oh, it's due to COVID, which I get. COVID was horrendous and it was a massive impact, but customer service, I mean, it's the root. It needs to be fantastic, and you hear it all the time. Companies with poor customer service, just get a grip. It's not difficult, is it? Just, oh my God, your customer is so important.
There's so much like technology tools out there now as well. Like, even if you've got a huge customer base, you can still track it and keep there are tools out there to help you to maintain that very personal relationship. And again, you just literally just think, oh God, maybe we have dropped the ball on this, because we can't all do things perfectly all the time. We're human, aren't we? But if you can just sort of like have a conversation with someone and have the respect to say, look, we didn't get that right, or we did, and how can I help? Like, how can we work through this together, or what is it that you're actually wanting to get out of this? Because maybe what we're selling isn't the right thing.
Exactly. But it's just about being honest as well. I mean, just my experience, just the last couple of weeks with moving, and we're obviously getting things delivered and all the rest of it, but just phone calls, sometimes it's just even so difficult to make a conversation, to have a call with somebody. One of the delivery companies, I don't even think I could find a telephone number. It was all automated, and it's just like, I just want to pick up the phone and speak to somebody, even if it's leave a message and somebody calls you back. But oh my God, it drives me nuts. I just think, like you say,
you're not alone, are you? And that really bugs me, like the technology companies, they almost seem to hide behind technology, and they just become like faceless. And that's something like that's why we really push, like, you've probably seen more of us than you do a lot of other technology on social. It's always like, the technology is the enabler, and if you innovate and you use the best technology and you try and apply like intuitive solutions, then that's the enabler. It's great, but don't ever forget,
exactly.
If it wasn't for the people, you wouldn't need the technology, you wouldn't have it in the first place. And
absolutely,
it's something that I believe quite passionately about, and hopefully that will come across and explore. It's certainly what we work towards anyway. But it's quite funny, because I know, like, when I've run kind of like brochure designs past people, and they're like, this doesn't look very corporate, it's like you want a picture of a warehouse on the front of it, like, how is that
Exactly. And I think that's why sometimes family businesses, especially with removals, they do really well, because it's just that personal touch, isn't it? Our family moving your family is such a lovely feeling. You think, well, they get it. You don't want to just be a number. You want to feel important. You want to feel that you matter.
Well, I was speaking to one removals operator actually, and he was saying, like, when he first started his business, I think he'd been in it for probably 30-40 years, something like that. He'd been in it for a long time, and he was saying, like, when he first started his business, the night before he was doing a move for somebody, bearing in mind they'd exchanged on the house, and so they had to get out of their house because somebody was moving in, and the house he was going to, the people were getting out of, and so he was involved in this chain in effect. He said, like, the night before, he just wouldn't be able to sleep, just making sure that everything was.
See, that's caring, isn't it? That's genuine caring, and that's what you want to feel. And it's silly things, like even down to vehicles. When you look at a vehicle and you just think that vehicle looks really clean, I know it's difficult in weather, but you think, well, they take care, they've got pride in their vehicle, they're obviously going to have pride. It's just little touches, I think, that mean a lot, don't they?
It does make a big difference. And I wanted to pick your brains on something else. Just bear with me. What was it? Oh, that was it. So you've been moving house that's taken up a bit of time. Did I see some photos of you with Theo
Pathetis?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh, he runs a competition on Sunday evenings on Twitter, and he picks six businesses, and he does it on Instagram as well now, I believe. That he feels obviously that have got a bit about them, that, you know, and you kind of pitch to him your business, and if he likes it, you get selected as a winner and invited to an event, which is an annual event, and obviously get presented with a certificate. And it's so supportive. Anybody in a small business really should enter, because if you are chosen, it is just the most supportive environment. Other people, other businesses, all different types of businesses, big, small, or whatever, they're just amazing. It's just, you know what it's like, you know yourself, you know, when you're in business, you're always learning, it's always evolving, there's always something. And to be honest, it's such a supportive community. If you've got any kind of, I'm not quite sure about this, there'll be somebody that's been there, done it, that knows it. It's just great.
And it's surprising, like, that just how much value you can get from kind of having that peer group of like supportive, even if it's a totally different industry or sector. It's just kind of people that are kind of going through the same thing. Yeah. Oh, good. That sounds exciting. That sounds very glamorous. Did you see I was in Vegas?
Oh, I love Vegas. How did you find Vegas?
Oh, it's like nowhere else on earth. Have you been?
I loved it. Yeah, I went there for my it was our 21st wedding anniversary. And then we said, right, we're going to do something really right. We're going to just go and blow out Vegas. And yeah, loved it.
Blow out Vegas. I imagine it's the sort of place that could just eat you up and spit you out.
Oh, it was incredible. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, obviously I was there for the conference. So, I mean, actually, by the time I landed, I was in the conference then 8 a.m. the next day and all day. And then the day after was at the conference again. And then I was jumping on a flight. So there wasn't much time to really explore the delights of Vegas. But the conference itself was fantastic for us to go to. Obviously, the American self-storage industry certainly is far more mature than what we have here in the UK. It's been a thing over there for years, and it was fascinating to see, like, sort of the, like, how it's kind of how it's perceived, and how, like, the different types of storage operators you get. And it seems to be something that a lot more people would get into as kind of a sideline to their actual own job.
Oh, like, really?
Yeah. So, like, in the UK, you know, like, you get a lot of people who have a job, but then they might have 4 or 5 houses, like, as a small portfolio, residential lets. Over there, I mean, that still is a thing, obviously, but also, like, it seems that self-storage kind of falls into that, and you get people buying up existing self-storage facilities that are maybe a bit older and could do with a facelift and a bit of.
Oh, that's such a good idea. That's such a good idea.
There was whole seminars just dedicated to, you know, how you identify potentially sort of like poorer self-storage facilities that you could acquire and sort of raise the value. So I think because there's so many of them over there.
That's such a good idea. It's funny how different countries perceive things. It's a bit like removals in this country. Yes, okay, you know, you do have a lot of companies that are incredibly professional. You also get some that probably aren't quite so. But over, I think it was my son worked for a company, and they had links with Australia. And in Australia, it's considered a career, as in a really good career. You know, it's not a job. It's looked at completely differently. And you just think, perhaps I don't know if it's more regulated over there or what, but it was quite interesting to see how it's perceived in different countries, isn't it? It's probably the same storage.
Yeah, I mean, the Australian market for storage is huge. I think it's second to America, which, you know, you kind of...
Wow. Conference in Australia next time then. I'll come with you.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a big business over there. I suppose urbanization is a big thing over there. You know, there's a lot of people around just concentrated areas, isn't there? And then you've got this vast expanse of just the outside.
Crazy, yeah.
But no, that was good. And then it's been a busy month or two for, well, it's always busy obviously when you've got your own business, but we relaunched the site a couple of weeks ago.
Looks amazing.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. It's really, really good.
Good. We've had really positive feedback to it, and we're sort of like integrating the themes of it into our social media as well. And now we're really starting to experiment with some of the conversion optimization tools on there, and the user experience, and all these sorts of things, and just continuing to listen to what the self-storage industry is telling us and what customers are telling us, and sort of making improvements that way. So it's exciting. Yeah, we've had some new team members as well. So
wow.
Teams grown, and we've got really I never thought, like, maybe this is just me with my rose tinted glasses on, but I never thought I'd meet a bunch of people who would also get as excited as me about storage technology.
Brilliant. Like-minded people attraction.
Yeah. Maybe they just, I don't know, they seem to have really kind of embraced it, and they're like, yeah, this has got to be done. And the great thing as well is, like, half of the team actually have their stuff in self-storage now as well, so they're really relating to the problem.
Talking from experience. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. So no, I couldn't be happier with that side of things. And now we're just really sort of testing various marketing approaches, and seeing what works and what sticks. It feels like you're kind of blending this perfect recipe of approaches, and eventually you'll find the right mix. Perfect whiskey or something. You'll find the right mix of what works, and hopefully that'll resonate, and then we can grow from there. So we are trying to be a lot more focused in like certain regions. So at the moment we're sort of just south of the Midlands, so like Oxfordshire, Northamptonshire, Cambridgeshire. Someone mentioned to me that that's called the Golden Triangle, apparently.
Really? Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because there's so much like logistics and industry. And
wow, I do. I love that. That's brilliant.
Cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So yeah, we've been concentrating a lot down there, but we're getting storage operators listing here, there, and everywhere all over the country, which is great. And I think we've had some referrals as well from some of your removals.
Good.
Well. So thank you for that. That's great.
No, it's everybody's there to help each other, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting actually, because removals and storage is obviously so linked, and it does seem like a lot of removals companies that I've spoken to, and maybe that's why I'm speaking to them, is like they've either got a small amount of storage as well, or they're going into storage.
Yes.
Or maybe they offer what they don't class as really like self-storage, but effectively is kind of storage, where they're putting the like the wooden storage containers into warehousing.
Yes.
And actually that's something that can list on Explorers, because that might suit some customers more than others, if they're emigrating or going traveling for a year and they don't need frequent access. So we've sort of been doing a bit of work around that to sort of try and help the customers understand, because I think it's probably not that well known, really, that type of storage.
No, it's interesting as well. I'm just wondering, linking into the military family associations, whether that would be something, because I'm just thinking when they've got postings overseas, I'm not sure what they do about their storage, and that might be something we can chat about. We can
that'd be cool. Do they get support with moving them?
Absolutely, the military is very well supported when they move. Generally your first and last move, you have to sort out yourself, but when you're posted and you do your moves and it is through WAP, that's all sorted out for you. It's I've never had a problem with military moves. I mean, some of the companies are better than others, obviously, but no, that's something that's sort of out of your hands a little bit. You kind of allocated a company when you're posted, and they deal with it all. But I'm just thinking, if you are posted overseas, and say you're posted to Australia for a couple of years, I don't really know. I know they ship out your stuff, but I wouldn't have thought you'd want to take everything out there for a couple.
You'd hope they wouldn't be precious about the for us.
So I don't know what they do about that. That might be something worth looking into.
That
might be useful.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have a look at that. So what's next for you then?
I'm going to try and get the booklets into stores. I think it's one of those things that at the moment it's online. The NAFI, I don't know if you've heard of the NAFI. It's a military thing. They sell it on their online stores. But I kind of think it's one of those things that people, when they see it, will go, oh God, yeah, I'm moving. You know, that might be, like I say, loads of lovely companies supply them to their customers, but it'd be quite nice to have them available in stores. So that's something I'm going to look into. Now I'm settled. Now I'm actually got an office. And
if there's anything we can help with that, then just I'd be more than happy to. And yeah, we could sell them on Explorage as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, be nice. It's just getting it out there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What about you? You're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I hope so. I mean, the plan is that, you know, we create a big community, you know, a big network of storage operators, and a place where customers can sort of find what they need easily and quickly and just book it, basically. So we need to be everywhere, and we'll just continue pushing and growing and listening and learning, never stop learning.
It's just getting out there. It's just getting your name out there, isn't it? At the end of the day, I was talking to somebody and I said about PR and advertising and everything, and I said, you know, I've got one product, it's my booklet, and it's all about getting it out there. And I said, and I used, was it Captain Tom that raised all the money for the NHS? And I said, God, I said, he didn't raise 30 odd million because he was just amazing on a Zimmer frame. He did it because of the publicity that he got. You know, it wasn't like this guy is superb on a Zimmer frame. So publicity and getting your name out there is just such a huge thing. And when you're a small business, it's kind of hard to know where to go and what to do, and I think again it's all a learning curve. But
I think you just have to keep at it as well, don't you? I was listening to a podcaster the other day, and he was saying, like, I mean, his business is like phenomenal now, you know, it's probably a unicorn if you want to use that. But he was saying, you know, it was probably 3 or 4 years where he was doing some kind of like a podcast, and he was doing it religiously every week, and the numbers were low, and then it kind of reached a point where just something resonated, and that kicked off like a bit of a tipping point, really. And then it happened again, and then it happened again, and I suppose because he had all that back catalogue as well, and people would go back to that. So I think as long as you're sort of, it goes back to what we were saying really before about like being genuinely passionate about what you're doing and just keep doing it, then you know, it's gonna work, isn't it? So it's good.
We'll celebrate in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh God, I'd love it if you came next year. Although I'm not sure I'd be able to keep up with you, Lisa. It sounds like you sort of tore Vegas up when you were there last time.
Oh my God. It's just somewhere I've always wanted to go. And it was like, its 21st anniversary just seemed like, yeah.
Which hotel did you stay at?
We stayed at the Cosmopolitan.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the new one next to the Bellagio. So we literally overlooked the fountain. It was amazing.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
To be honest, the hotel that I was staying at was the one that was with the conference kind of thing, like they had a special room rate, and it was called Haraz, I think. And for a long time after I arrived, the taxi sort of dropped me off at the taxi entrance, which was around the back of the hotel. And then I'd found my way to where the conference was, which I didn't even have to leave the building. I just kind of went through, you know, route of walkways, and before you know, you're in a different hotel, and you're like, how did I end up here?
Yes. Yeah.
And I was on the phone to my partner, and he was like, so what's the hotel like? Where is it on the strip? I was like, honestly, I don't know. I haven't even found the front of the hotel yet. So I like made a point of I just like, right, I'm just going to walk through this casino and follow like all these slot machines, and hopefully try and spot some daylight somewhere in the hotel. And there it was. So I crossed the road and took a picture. I was like, I found it. The Johnny Osmond billboard.
Such an amazing place. It really is incredible.
Yeah, it's cool. But I'm certainly it's taken a little while to recover from that trip, from the jet lag anyway.
Oh,
I will have a lovely rest of the week. You finished your unpacking and things now?
Yeah. It's just all the final. Like I say, I'm just getting blinds and things fitted today, and then just the final few bits and pieces. But yeah, it's all done. 2 weeks, flash to bang, all done.
Well, the queen of moving.
Love it. Absolutely love it. If I see a removal lorry, or when I did see a removal, I used to get really envious, thinking, "Oh God, they're so lucky."
You'll never know. You might be moving again before too long. Then, if you get itchy feet.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's been so nice to talk to you. Thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you for taking the time to have a chat. It's just so lovely to catch up as well.
Yeah, and you. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, we will do. Speak soon then, Lisa.
All right, you take care. See you. Bye.
Bye.